Monday just got better, because it's an entire show of hot topics. CNN political commentator Ana Navarro's back to guest co-host. Too much joy? Yeah. Nope. Why a mistaken news report had celebration take a sharp turn this weekend. Above obstruction? The president's lawyer claims he can't be charged with obstructing justice. So why are some saying he's already guilty? Harsh reality. The Long Island medium announces she's splitting with her husband of 28 years. She didn't see this coming? Plus, view your deals making you a holiday hottie this season. Let's light up Hot Topics with Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
To see all your smiling faces. Well, look at the beautiful set we have. Stunning. Gorgeous. I love Christmas. Don't you love Christmas?
I'm about to steal one of those trees. It's so hard to decorate.
It's so pretty. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
You do a great job.
So,
anybody would notice?
So on Friday's show, apparently I was guilty of premature evaluation. I hear they have a pill for that now. Here's what happened. ABC News reporter Brian Ross released a story claiming that when Trump was a candidate, he told Michael Flynn to contact the Russians. Ross later corrected himself, saying it was actually when Trump was president-elect. Now, Brian has been suspended for a month. And, Sonny, you have a statement from ABC News. Let's hear that.
Yes, ABC News says, "We deeply regret and apologize for the serious error we made yesterday. The reporting conveyed by Brian Ross during the special report had not been fully vetted through our editorial standards process. As a result of our continued reporting over the next several hours, ultimately we determined the information was wrong, and we corrected the mistake on air and online. It is vital we get the story right and retain the trust we have built with our audience. These are our core principles. We fell far short of that yesterday. Effective immediately, Brian Ross will be suspended for 4 weeks without pay."
Okay, that's ABC's statement. Brian Ross has released a statement also on Sunday. He said, "My job is to hold people accountable," and that's what I agree with, being held accountable myself. And that's why I agree with being held accountable myself. So he has basically, I mean, I would say that this is people are slamming this as fake news. To me, it's a mistake. It's not he didn't deliberately put out a false piece of information. Yeah. He made an error. What do you girls think?
It was a significant error, though, and I think journalists have to be, given the climate, very, very careful with their reporting. It's not important to be first. It's or first, rather. It's important to be right, and he was wrong, and he's paying the price for that.
Especially in the climate right now with the president administration, sometimes he has a bit of a precarious relationship with facts, and we hold him to what he would describe as hyperbole or exaggeration. So with that said, it's almost like if journalists normally get 2 sources, they should have 3 sources now, because I think otherwise it feeds into a narrative of calling it fake news. Although I know we said in the meeting, I do think fake news is the intention. It's putting out a story with the intention to mislead. I think this was a big mistake.
Well, look, I think it's a learning moment for all of us and for America. We've got to have patience, and we've got to treat this issue with great seriousness. It is a serious issue. It's about national security. It's about the integrity of our democracy and elections. We've got to be serious about it. We've got to be deliberate about it. As far as Brian Ross and what happened here, you know, he clearly made a mistake. He's paying the consequences for that mistake. Yeah. And I think it's a good standard. Now, it's the same standard I'd like to hold the President of the United States to.
Good luck.
I think that, you know, Brian Ross was not trying to lie. He made a mistake. Grave consequences, grave mistake, paying the consequences. The President of the United States embellishes, exaggerates, and lies habitually. And who's holding him accountable?
Well, I have a lot lot of things to say about this. When it happened in real time, I think everyone who was watching the show could see my discomfort at the room erupting like the Dodgers had just won the World Series. Because I do think holding people to both standards, I remember when Obama was in office, Rush Limbaugh saying, I want my president to fail. And coming out and saying, I could never get behind that because if our president fails, it means America fails. I feel the same way about Trump. I think if we're celebrating a breach of national security, something that is so egregious that I said this on Friday, it's going to tear our country apart. There's no need to be cheering and celebrating, to each their own, whatever. I will say on the fake news note of this, I went to a Christmas party over the weekend. It's no secret, most of my friends are in conservative media. I feel a lot like I'm an astronaut from a different planet, come here to try and explain both worlds to each other. That's how different I feel on this show sometimes.
Well, as long as your oxygen doesn't run out, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say that fake news and what we did on Friday, that's what I was being accused of being a part of. And I don't want to sit on a show where I feel like we're giving fake news or reacting irresponsibly, because the cut and short of it is, no matter what happens, and by the way, I think this is far from over, but we should take the information that we have and take it in time and explain it to people, because having one piece of information, which ended up being fake news in my opinion, it doesn't mean that an impeachment trial will start this evening.
Do you believe that Brian Ross deliberately did that and put it out as fake news?
I don't think it was deliberate, but I think it was fake news.
But that's what fake news means.
The Dow dropped 350 points after it happened. There are real-life ramifications.
That might have had something to do with Flynn and Mueller.
But I'm just saying, but it was fake news, and then the Dow dropped. There are real-life ramifications to this.
I think
Let me just say one more thing. 71% of Alabama voters don't believe that Roy Moore, they don't believe the news about Roy Moore being a child molester, no matter how many people have come out to say it. That is a complete and total distrust and lack of responsibility on the media's part. Let me tell you.
No, they distrust the women. That has nothing to do with the media.
No, they distrust the media's take on this. They think that the liberal media.
They just report what the women say.
But there's such a distrust in our journalists right now that they don't believe what they're saying, because when on election day, the day after, you have a bunch of people going on TV demanding impeachment the day after, you think, and I feel this way, that there is a liberal bias that doesn't matter what happens, that you just want to take down Trump no matter what happens and no matter what happens to the country.
Look, I think Megan is right. There's a bunch of double standards. But I'll tell you what one of the double standards I feel is. I think that if Hillary Clinton had done half of what Donald Trump has already done under a Republican Congress, the impeachment papers would already be drafted. I also think that, look, you know, we've got to be very careful and really thoughtful about the difference between fake news, real journalism. To me, fake news is when you make up a story about the Clintons running a sex ring out of the basement of a pizza shop that does not have a basement. Or when you make up a horrible conspiracy story and never even regret it and never apologize for it about the death of Seth Rich. Here, Brian Ross made a mistake. The network took action. He accepted the action. Everybody's apologized, and everybody's admitting it's a mistake because there was no intent. Fake news is a catchphrase that Donald Trump is trying to use, I think, against real news. That's inconvenient for him.
I agree.
And we got to be really careful.
Yeah, we have to be very careful with that because, you know, and it is a term, I think, that Donald Trump coined, and I think he coined it because it's so convenient for him, and people are believing him. And I think we really need to remember that our right to a free press is not only in our Constitution, it is the bedrock of our democracy. When you don't have freedom of the press, you have places like China, like North Korea, like Vietnam, like Iran, like Cuba. And so, you know, those people that you're referring to that believe, you know, don't disbelieve the media, I hope that they really look very closely at what is coming out of this administration.
Freedom of the press is a right, but it's also a responsibility.
But if we go after every shiny ball with one source, again, I think the media the majority of mainstream media is so hell-bent on taking Trump down. And again, if he has done something that he should be taken down and impeached, it will come out. I have faith that nothing stays a secret, especially in D.C. too long. But stop taking the bait and jumping, because trust me, President Trump was tweeting about this, that it was fake news. It gives ammo to whatever you think isn't real or is fake.
But a mistake is a mistake.
But
I mean, the guy made a mistake. And they've already admitted it. So what else can you do about it?
Because I'm trying to explain to you that people like myself included, I say liberal media bias when I'm talking about politics all the time. I talk about left-wing media. I think there is an innate misunderstanding of the anger and frustration against...
Do you think there's a bias at Fox also?
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, so it's not just liberal
But I
media
hope
bias.
some of the people
the
Megan's
fact that-
talking about that see this as fake news find comfort in the execution of consequences. Because one thing we say is, you know, oftentimes we watch the president do this and there's no consequence. And then he says there's this media that's left-leaning and biased. This is what happens in journalism when you get it wrong, whether it's fired or suspension without pay. There are consequences for getting it wrong.
That's true.
And that's why I think hopefully people find comfort in that, you know.
And I will say that Fox News exists because so many people feel like they are never allowed to have any conservative beliefs spoken on television on any other network. I'm not saying it's necessarily right, but I'm saying Fox News is #1 in cable for a reason, and there's a lot of people
Look,
that
we're very
watch it.
polarized as a nation. We all want to watch things, listen to things, read things that we agree with. And a lot of times that's regardless of whether they're true or not. I think we have a personal responsibilities as consumers of news to verify, to search for credible sources, to search for credible journalists, follow them and read them.
And to check sources that don't go with your belief system. That's something, because it'll give you a more full picture if you don't stay in your echo chamber.
And have diverse friends, by the way.
Right. And have healthy debate.
You know what, I'm not so,
I want to final
I'm
one
not so
thing.
sure I want him to succeed at destroying the environment, playing chicken with Kim Jong-un. I'm not so I don't want him to succeed at a lot of things. As you say, we want our president to succeed. No, I don't.
Well, I didn't expect you not to admit that.
I don't.
Well,
Do you? So he gets out of the Paris Accords, he
I thought that
antagonizes everybody all over the world.
The things that I thought Obama did wrong and the ramifications that I think my future grandchildren will feel, I still, at the end of the day, I love America. I'm a true patriot. I want Trump to succeed. I want Obama to succeed. I want America to continue
I love
leading
America.
and
It's
being
him
the
I can't
greatest.
stand. We'll be right back with more Hot Topics.
Still ahead, Billy Bush speaks. What he says really went down on the Access Hollywood bus with Donald Trump, and why he says he's guilty too.
Hey, everybody.
If you're a fabulous fan of The View, get this.
It's that time of year again, and I got you the perfect stocking stuffer.
Ooh, and you're gonna need one giant stocking, cuz we're giving away awesome gifts and epic trips. Stuff so good, it'll leave you singing, "All I want for Christmas is you."
Good one. Happy holidays from The View.
So visit us on Facebook, like our page, and find out how to enter.
I saw the change in Rich when we moved.
Still ahead, view your deals getting you gorgeous for the holidays.
Welcome back to the show. So Billy Bush, remember Billy Bush? Access Hollywood tape. He just confirmed what we all heard with our own ears, that Donald Trump did say all those things on that Access Hollywood bus, and that he was doing his job of fluffing up the network's biggest star at the time. So how will this play in the red states? Are they going to believe him, or are they going to not believe him?
I don't think they cared the first time about this video, and I don't think they're going to care the second time about the video.
And I don't think they're going to care about what Billy Bush has to say. They're not reading the New York Times, which is where he has an op-ed. But look, I think, over a year has gone by now, over a year, and I think Billy Bush is sitting there unemployed and seeing Donald Trump in the White House and saying, what's wrong with this picture?
Well, that's what's always been odd to me. It's like you have... It's so odd to me that you have the guy who said the crass words, grab the women by their stuff, and then the guy who just kind of didn't say anything and he did play along with it.
Yeah.
He got fired and is unemployable. What's wrong with that
Well, look at all
picture?
the men who've been accused of sexual
Yeah, it's
harassment who
always
are
power.
out of a job, and he's still in office, too.
Right, and he's got to be
Still there.
asking himself, gee, all I did was stand there like an idiot and, laugh along. And now you've got a bunch of people in Congress who have done worse, and they're still there. Not only are they still there, we are paying their hush fund money.
And why is
Which
that?
I continue being really mad about.
Why is that? Anybody?
I don't know. I mean, that's the $64,000 question. I don't know, but people
Actually,
like Al-
$17 million.
$17 million. Excuse me.
$17 million in the hush
For the
fund?
entire harassment settlements, we don't know how much of it is sexual harassment.
But I will say that Billy Bush is looking for redemption, and I think that he is due it in one way or another. I think that he explains in the article that my job was to fluff up celebrities, and at the time he was one of the biggest names at NBC. He had The Apprentice on. He was a really big deal. Do I hope and pray that the men in my life wouldn't behave in such a fashion had a man been talking that way? Yes, of course. Do I think he knows he made a huge mistake? Yes. I think if Billy Bush wants a career, this is exactly the right route. Go into activism of some kind. I think your entertainment career is long dead and gone. But I think if you want to be someone who's part of the resistance, that's where I would tell him, especially with the last name Bush, might be pretty powerful.
But what about the fact that Bush, he hasn't said it publicly, not Bush, Trump, you got me mixed up. Trump has said privately, although I didn't say that. That's not me.
He said it privately.
Is it delusion? Is it mental illness? Or is it a lie?
No, people believe he is well versed in saying things that aren't true, and people believe it.
Yes.
So if people tell you you're God long enough, you're like, oh man, I'm God. Well, and that's what's happening with the Trump. He thinks he can say anything, and people will believe it.
In the interview, Billy Bush said something. He said, Bush said he once called out Trump for inflating his ratings, and Trump responded, quote, people will just believe you. You just tell them, and they believe you.
Yes.
So I think it's insightful into what he thinks, which is if you put it out there, it becomes true.
So to the case of Roy Moore, just to go back to that for a second, Trump has now said that those women were lying. Basically, the women who accuse him of sexual harassment are lying. And then these 70
Did
or
Trump
more...
say they were lying, the Moore accusers were lying?
He said he believed Roy Moore.
Oh,
so what does that mean?
He said he's
I believe Roy Moore means I don't believe him.
I thought he was just saying I needed his vote. I didn't know he was saying I don't believe
No, he said I believe Roy.
It means they got some internal polling that shows that Roy Moore is probably going to win, as I've been saying on the show. That's why Mitch McConnell is sort of hedging back as well. Listen, it's disgusting. The fact that I'm even talking about pedophilia and a candidate for Senate in one way or another. I will say I had a long conversation with it's a terrible pause line, but we're against pedophilia on this show. I will say that I have a really good friend who lives in Birmingham, Alabama. I had a long conversation with her this weekend.
Yeah.
Hardcore Republican, and she said it's the first election she thinks she's going to sit out. She can't bring herself to do with either one of these people. It's echoes of the conversations I had in the last election, and I think we in the Republican Party have to do better. But this was a Bannon, Breitbart candidate. This is not a traditional conservative, but I do think, as disgusted as we all are with all of this, I think he's going to win and be a senator.
And the Republican Party will suffer for it.
Megan, it could have been either party, too. It's disgusting without a party. So it's not something that just Republicans have to work on.
Trump said this, I think, today or yesterday. Why we need Republican Roy Moore to win Alabama? We need his vote on stopping crime, illegal immigration, border wall, military, pro-life. And I thought to myself, so this is a guy who allegedly molested a 13-year-old, which is a crime, and he's going to help stop crime?
While he was a district attorney.
While he was a DA. And you know, you got to let that sink in, that we have the President of the United States endorsing someone who has had all these horrible sexual assault allegations against him just for the vote.
And didn't he refuse?
Your point is very, very important. It's not about party. Really, this is one point, this stuff about the sexual predator, the predators of minors. Everything right now is political. This should not be political. This should not be about right and left. This should be about right and wrong.
But I do think
this should be about basic decency.
Well, when it comes down to it, again, my friend that I was talking, like, the pro-choice issue is a big one, and she might end up voting for Roy Moore again, like, wasn't completely collectively decided. And I do think, like, this is so tribal.
This woman you were talking to in Birmingham?
This is so tribal, and it's so ultimately about more than just the candidate. And I don't agree with it, again, one way or another, because we're talking about pedophilia. But I do have compassion for these voters, because when you're put with these two examples of what politics is, it's so beneath what I think we all grew up with voting for.
Okay, all right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Happy anniversary.
Facebook's COO, Sheryl Sandberg, who wrote a book called Lean In, that was a big hit. She says that she's worried about a backlash against the Me Too movement because men will be scared to hire women for fear of a sexual harassment claim. So are guys going to take a page from Mike Pence and every day will be take your wife to work day?
I don't know. I think the wives can be harder sometimes.
I mean, is it really, people are now worried that men will just say, you know what, these women are bringing lawsuits, let's not hire them. You think that's going to happen?
I don't think so. I mean, I can't imagine that. I mean, the answer is not hiring women. The answer is not sexually harassing them. I mean,
I know that.
It's quite simple.
It's a real question. I've had this conversation with several male friends who basically say, look, we work in a law firm or we work in a hospital. How many doctors end up marrying nurses? How many lawyers end up marrying colleagues or assistants or whatever? where do you draw the line? I think men are nervous. I've told my boyfriend, every picture you take from now on, I want you like this. I want to see both your hands, both your feet.
No, that
your
looks,
eyes.
I don't think that's a good one.
Oh, that one, no?
That
No, it
looks
looks like you're. Never mind.
He should be like this, maybe.
Nobody would buy that.
I had the same concern, though. I said to Manny, when you are examining a female patient or any patient, you do bring a nurse into the room with
What
you.
kind of
and he's
doctor is he?
Orthopedic surgeon. And I was like, because, you know, he's got to check out people's hips, and it's close to everything. And he said, absolutely. He's very, very
I think
careful.
you should tell him to stick
But
to
you know,
the
the whole thing is riddled with danger. If you get a massage, there's only a massage therapist in there with you, for example. If you get a facial,
I love it.
and I know.
Dating at work can be professional suicide. I know when I was at a law firm, I was dating a fellow associate, same level, and my father said, for him it's a conquest, for you it's professional suicide.
I dated a guy for 4 years,
that's
but he
true.
disclosed it. He was someone he's a lawyer, and I thought at the time he was overthinking it. I was like, sweetie, come on. But he did, and that was smart. I think if you disclose it, because I agree with you, so many times, especially maybe everywhere, but I know in New York we live at our jobs. I didn't have time outside of work, so that became my.
I mean, you meet people at work, your peers.
But it's
you
so
fall in love and you
dangerous
get
right
married.
now.
That's
But
how
what if it's a
it worked before
supervisor?
the internet.
But don't you
that's how
think
you
it's
met
dangerous
guys.
right now for
I don't
people
get how
to
you
be? Don't you think it's dangerous right now for people to sort of date at work? And we all hear rumors of people within offices who date around a lot. In the office, I've certainly worked places where people were dating amongst everyone. I think those days are long gone. I don't care how attracted. I mean, I'm married now, but how attracted I was to someone who I worked with, I would not touch this right now for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like, as you said, it might be career suicide one way or the other.
It wasn't career suicide for Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough.
Oh, hey now. Yes, that's true. But
If you can stand behind every action you have, because the behavior that led to and again, this is about 10 years ago, the relationship I had, if I sat in a room and was questioned about how I acted or he was, it was in line with my own integrity. So nothing I did was inappropriate.
Isn't it about the power dynamic? Like if you're dating someone the same level, that's one thing. But if you're dating your supervisor, I think that has to be.
But when they get
disclosed.
you in, there still has to be something more there. So just the interaction or saying if you'd ever be interested in, I'm not saying right now, Megan, I know it's tepid. Like it's not any ink you want to dip in is not the company ink. But I just mean the way I handled myself was defensible, and he too. Like we didn't do anything inappropriate. So I think when you get called into HR, I don't think that dating is over.
You know what about college? You're not supposed to date a fellow student either?
But there's all this talk about consent, which I think is a great topic that we're discussing. Right. But I will say, if I were in college and I were about to have sex with someone, I might be like, can we sign this legal document that says it was both consensual, nothing's gonna happen? I'm serious. I think that is where we are at as a culture for
I'm advising that. I like that.
But I'm just saying, there's so much
download legal form app,
But I will say, on Sheryl Sandberg,
let's do that.
But on Sheryl Sandberg's point, there is a difference between hiring women and being just a man who can be around women and be respectful, and bringing an intern into your office and pulling down your pants and showing your genitals. Like, come on.
Come on. Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. What about holiday parties? They're saying they're eliminating holiday parties.
Nothing.
I mean, that's when you really make your move.
I love those holiday parties. I'm
drinking.
I'm like Bridget Jones.
Exactly. The drinking is when the fun starts.
Nothing could happen.
Oh my God. They're going to end up turning into a holiday breakfast.
They shouldn't have mistletoe. Why would you have mistletoe at a holiday party?
Because it's a Christmas decoration.
No. We'll be right back. We gotta go.
Here's the story of Green Mountain Coffee.
So, welcome back. So I heard the Long Island medium. You know who she is? Teresa Caputo? Yeah. She's a reality star, and she claims that she can speak to the dead. Sounds like my first marriage. Boom. And she just split from her husband after 28 years of marriage. I heard she was talking to the dead behind his back. Now, the show's been on for 10 seasons. These reality shows really do kill relationships, don't they? Is that what the problem was, do you think? I mean, why else would...
Well, why didn't she see it coming? I mean, that's what I want to know.
Because, you know, the dead, according to these people who speak to the dead don't predict the future. They just talk to you.
Yeah.
Things are great up
She
here.
has not won the lottery yet.
Right? They always say things like, Grandpa's playing the piano. He never played the piano in life. Why is he playing the piano suddenly?
Joy doesn't believe.
You're not a believer.
And what happened to the harp?
You're not a believer. I believe that, and 3 out of 4 people agree with me, that there is some sort of path where someone who died can speak to you. Joy made me read this book that ruined it for me.
What was the
that
book?
Houdini book?
Oh, it was Houdini, the famous magician. He and his mother had a deal that they were very tight. So when she said when she died, they made a deal before she died, obviously, that if she could contact him at a seance, they had a secret word. Never did it.
Yeah.
So that was the end of his belief in the afterlife.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a movie for you. It's called Ghost. And, like, it's real. I do, too.
I'm afraid to even speak on this topic for fear of getting contacted from the other side. Please don't.
Do you believe?
In Santa?
Yeah. That someone from the, from the afterlife.
I gotta tell you, seriously, my brother died about 17 years ago. I miss him terribly. Tuto, if you're listening, damn it, talk to me. I've been waiting for 17 years. I don't believe because I think that somebody would have contacted me.
Like Houdini. One time on the Larry King show, a woman calls him. What's his name? James Van Prague talks to the dead on the show, on the phone. So a woman calls
They get on the phone?
Yeah, they were talking on the phone. Larry King show. So the guy, James Van Prague says to the woman, "I'm hearing from your husband," and she says, "He's not dead. He's on the other line."
I know.
Who knew, Joy? Okay. We know what's on your wish list this season, so it's time for another edition of All I Want for Christmas is View. You can see what the future looks and feels like with the Merge Cube, the hologram you can hold in your hand. The physical and digital worlds join forces using augmented reality technology and your smartphone or tablet to transform into almost anything you can imagine. And thanks to Merge, members of our audience are going home with not 1, but 2 Merge Cubes and 2... will win all of the products we give away today and all this week. Enter for a chance each day by visiting our Facebook page and using the daily code you see on the screen. It's that easy. So good luck.
Okay, we'll take a break, and we'll be right back with some more Hot Topics.
This week, hold on tight, because the View's Hot Topics are on fire.
Tell us more.
Okay, get ready to laugh out loud when Keegan-Michael Key, Ed Helms, and Tiffany Haddish all face the ladies. It's funny.
I know.
It's all this week on The View.
This house.
Tomorrow, as the Russia investigation puts Team Trump under the microscope, the campaign manager who helped him win the White House, Corey Lewandowski, reveals what he says really went down and who he says could be going down next. Plus, Emmy-winning funny man Keegan-Michael Key is trying to break a world record live on The View.
So a mother wrote into an advice column because she says that her daughter needs plastic surgery, and she doesn't know how to break it to her. Now, this mother already had her kid pin her ears back because they were sticking out, and she also had her get a nose job at the age of 18, which was, she says, was botched. The mother says that. We don't have any evidence. The kid felt it was botched. So what do you think about a mother telling a daughter to get a nose job or to fix her ears or whatever?
I'd say forget the nose job. The mother's a nut job.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if that daughter reads that column, recognizes herself. I mean, just how many body issues is this woman going to have the rest of her life?
It's about self-hatred. It's about the mother not liking what she looks like. Too many people try to live vicariously through their children, and our children are separate and apart from us. I think Khalil Gibran, the poet, said something like, you know, they're just arrows that pass through us. They're from us, but they're not ours.
Yeah.
And a mother that's telling her daughter things like that, I mean,
so if the girl didn't feel she needed a nose job, keep the bazoo shut.
Well, the daughter
Absolutely.
overcame social anxiety, underwent therapy, moved to different countries in her 20s. She's had relationship attempts with men, but the mom gathers it's all due to lack of interest on their part, and like it sounds like she might be the reason poor girl's in therapy, not her.
Well, the bottom line here, and the key to, you know, the key to all of this is being happy in your own skin, whatever that skin may be.
Yeah.
It's not about what your mother thinks about you, what any man thinks about you.
Go ahead. Like, I think we all get comments when you're on a show, and I get fat shamed all day long. All day, every day, I'm so fat, I shouldn't be on the show, I'm so fat. And when I was 16, 17, I gained a lot of weight, and I started looking more like a woman, and my mom was like, you're incredibly beautiful, we're gonna find sizes that fit you, and we have money to buy great clothes for you, and it's gonna be great. And I never, since then, really cared about how much I weigh in the same way.
Yeah.
And had I had a mother that said, diet right now, you're too fat, I would be a completely different person right now.
But you know what? I'm just saying this to make another side of the case. There are studies out there that say that when you look good, you get better jobs, you make more money. It's superficial, and it's not a great thing. It's very shallow. But if a girl or a guy has ears that stick out, or some kind of a weird nose that makes you look different, and you have a child like that, and you want to help them in the world, is not your responsibility to say there is a solution to this issue.
No, your responsibility is to build them up. I had the same exact thing happen to me with my parents. You know, I was growing up as a biracial kid in the 70s, early 70s. It was difficult, and people called me names. I wasn't a traditional-looking person, and my mother always said, you're different and special and gorgeous and beautiful. So when people told me that I wasn't, I was like, what are you talking about?
The stuff you mentioned in a job and stuff keeps you helpful during the day, but you still have to go to bed at night with yourself in a room. And if you're not happy with that,
and wake up in the morning with no hair and makeup.
All right. Well, Barbara Streisand never did it. We'll be right back.
The hottest holiday item will be you when you view your deal. We partnered with vendors for at least half off this season's best beauty products. Next.
It's all pop culture.
Parties, events, and photo ops, so you always want to be looking good. We partnered with vendors for at least half off this season's hottest beauty products while supplies last. And here to show them off is lifestyle expert Greta Monahan.
Hi. I'm kicking it off with the glam, girl.
I love these smartphones.
Yes. So Wonder 2 eyebrow gel and cosmetics. So the eyebrow gel and all of these cosmetics are amazing. This is going to actually allow you to fill in, define,
to make it look
shape
thicker.
Your brows in seconds better than natural. And the big thing, you guys, is they all stay put. From the gel stay put liners to the glittery gel. I know you were looking at this. You can add this gel to your eyeshadow that you have at home or your blush.
Oh my gosh,
and I know this one, she's going to apply a lot of it. But they stay so well. The eyebrow gel will actually stay up to 3 days. You can't live without these products.
Oh my gosh, that's smart,
right? Original price on these $15 to $22. Get ready, today's deal, $7.50 to $11. Saving 50%. MD. Oh, I love this. This is an award-winning skincare line that was founded by a world-renowned, board-certified dermatologist. He's the real deal. It's really sought after. But the line itself is incredible because it's targeted skincare. And what I have today is 15 fresh assortment of new skincare products along with the standout bestsellers. So the ones that I love, for instance, like I absolutely love the face finishing moisturizer here and the repair serum.
Yeah.
Incredible. Put a little on at night, you wake up, you really see results immediately.
They do. Eye creams are
incredible. So go on because there's something for all your skin types. Original deal on these, $45 to $130. Deal, $22.50 to $65 plus free shipping.
Amazing. And you want to get it on a deal because
you have to because it's luxury skincare. Okay, so Night Tri-Silk and Silk and Satin Pillowcase. Did you know that a pillowcase can change your beauty game?
Yeah, because it can age you. The cotton soaks the moisture away and then you wrinkle. My grandma used to tell me every
So satin pillowcases, Tri-Silk, which is the best silk you can buy. And basically what that's going to do is combat fine lines, a bed head, really help. And if you have sensitive skin, it's great for avoiding breakouts. These are amazing gifts too, but I love them. Original price on these, $45 to $100. Today's deal, $20 to $50 plus free shipping.
I love that.
Okay.
Oh, I see a battery-operated
Toy. Michael Todd Beauty. So I got to know these guys a few years ago when I worked for them, and I love their skincare and devices. I just want to say, this is a first ever deal level I have never brought you before. So if you love Michael Todd Beauty, today's the day. If you're new to it, don't miss it. You're going to get 2 full-size devices in this limited edition holiday pack, okay? Crazy, fully packaged, ready to go. And the skincare, you guys, especially the mask, Sarah, she gets so crazy, this one. And I love the Sonic makeup brush. Again, these are antimicrobial and they work and people are loving them. Look at her. Original price on these, $24 to $149. Today's deal, $12 to $74.50. Our savings of 50% off. Okay, this I'm dying to show you. Beautility Beauty Scoop. Now check this out. I want to show you guys.
This is so you don't waste makeup.
It's Recoup Beauty Scoop. You do not waste makeup, skincare, lip gloss, all the expensive stuff that we buy and love. You end up wasting so much money. You deserve to get it.
I once looked this up.
So it's these beauty scoops. The pros have known about these for years. Our Emmy Award-winning beauty department loves it. And basically, you take this. It's designed to fit into the smallest little container.
That's amazing, because you know how much they say you throw away over a quarter of the product
exactly.
with every bottle.
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
So use it with everything. Serums, moisturizers, original price on these, $10 to $20. Today's deal, $5 to $10. Savings of 50% off. Okay, I love this one. Me Power, permanent hair removal. There are 3 devices everywhere, here, you guys, that are incredible. So this is fast, easy hair reduction at home. And here's the thing. These are FDA cleared, so they work on all sorts of skin types, the widest range of skin color and hair.
Like your legs?
It reduces hair everywhere, from face to toe, okay? Original price on these, $199 to $329. Today's deal, $99.50 to $139. With free shipping. Everywhere. Which you usually can't. FDA cleared. This is safe and the most effective you'll find.
Doesn't hurt.
Does not hurt. Pain-free.
I need promises, Greta. I need promises.
You call me.
Okay. Our thanks to Greta Monahan. The clock is ticking. People, you have 24 hours to grab any of these exclusive deals at viewyourdeal.com. And members of the audience are going home with products from Wonder 2 and Michael Todd Beauty.